All right, here's a quick review for whatever it is, numbers, use of numbers. Okay, so I'll run through this stuff for you. So for A, we have 4 plus 6 times 2. If you remember BEDMAS, we do this first. So 6 times 2 is going to be 12, which is going to equal 16. Next one, 5 minus 1 squared minus 4. So let's do our brackets first. 5 minus 1 is 4, squared minus 4. 4 squared is 16 minus 4, which equals 12. C is 3 times 2 plus 6. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus 6, which equals 12 as well. Next one is D, which is 4 times 2 plus 16 divided by 4. So we do our multiplication division first. We're going to go 8. 4 times 2 is 8. 16 divided by 4 is 4, which also equals 12. I did not plan this. This one we have 5 times 2 times 6 minus 1. So BEDMAS, we need to do a multiplication first. So 10 times 6 minus 1. 10 times 6 is 60 minus 1, which equals 59. Okay? So this one here, we are to circle the fraction that is a unit fraction. Okay, so a unit fraction is a 1 over an item. So there are 2 unit fractions. Okay. Oops. Put that back. Pull this one down. So use the unit fraction 1 over 4 to determine what 3/4 of 32 is. Okay. So 1 over 4. All right. So that means we're going to take 32 divided by 4, and that's going to give us 1/4. That's going to be 8. Okay. So if we were thinking about here, a quarter would be worth 8. So if you have 3/4, it'd be 8 plus 8 plus 8, which is going to equal 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24. Okay? Three. So 4a here is x over 5 equals 5 over 50. So take a look here. How do we get from x? So how do we get from 5 to 50? We times it by 10. Right? We times it by 10. Or we can think about it like divide by 10 if we're going this way. Divide by 10. I'm going to make this arrow go that way. So we go, what's 5 divided by 10? Equals 0.5. So x equals 0.5. I'm sorry, that's a really messy question I made for you. So B, 3 over 15 equals 12 over 15. So 3 times what equals 12? Okay, 3 times 4 equals 12. Oops. That should be next there. All right. So on the bottom, we times this by 4. So what's 15 times 4? 15 times 4 is 60. So x equals 60. C now is 2 to the 7 equals x to the 14. Now these ratios you can just write as fractions. So 7 times what equals 14? Okay, 7 times 2 equals 14. So we take this and we times it by 2. So 2 times 2 equals 4. So x equals 4. Let's go do this in green. So 3 over 12 equals 15 over x. Same thing. 3 times what equals 15? Oh, that's times 5. So we're going to times this by 5. So 12 times 5 equals 60. So x equals 60. Just did this one. Let's grab this one. All right. So for this here, you need to change it from fraction, decimal, to percent. So from percent to fraction, from decimal to percent, we times by 100. So that's going to be 20. 0.2 times 100 is 20. For this one, we put it over 100. Sorry, times by 100 over 100. So times by 100 was 20, and we put it over 100. Then we could reduce that to be 2 over 10, and then reduce it again to be 1 over 5. Now how I reduce that is I divided both by 10, then I divided both these by 2. Okay, now we need to go this way, so we're going to go, in this one, we just divide. What's 3 divided by 5? 3 divided by 5 is 0.6. Then we're going to multiply by 100 again to get 60. Now the last one here, instead of multiplying by 100, we divide by 100, so we get 0.4. Then we're going to take we're going to go 40 over 100, okay, which is going to equal that, and we can reduce that to 4 over 10, and then we can divide both by 2 to get 2 over 5. Right. So the first one here, 1 over 10 plus 5 over 50. We need common denominators. So we're going to times, we need a 50 on the bottom, so we're going to times this by 5 and times this by 5. Which is going to give us 5 over 50 plus 5 over 50, which is going to equal 10 over 50. And then we can reduce this by dividing both by 10, which will give us 1 over 5. Next one, we have negative 5 over 8 multiplied by negative 2 over 5. Now when you multiply, you're just going to multiply straight across. So 5 times 2 is 10. 8 times 5 is 40. And a negative times a negative is a positive. And then we can reduce again by dividing by 10, which is going to give us 1 over 4. So we have 2 over 10 divided by 2 over 3. Okay? Or I could write this as 2 over 10 divided by 2 over 3. And when we multiply, we flip the second one, and we make it a, when we divide, we flip the second one and make it a multiply. Then we're going straight across again. Which is going to be 6 over 20. Now let's divide both by 2, which is going to give us 3 over 10. This one here, let me scroll down a little bit. Zoom out some so we can still see it. We have 10 and 4/5 minus 4 and 2 over 5. Now, since we have common denominators here, we can just go straight here and go 10 minus 4 is 6. 4 minus 2 is 2, and we keep the denominators the same. So it's a nice easy one there. And lastly, 6 1/4 times 4 over 5. Now we can't do that here. We have to make this into an improper fraction. So the way we do that is we go 6 times 4. So we get 6 wholes. We figure out how many that is. That's 24. Then we're going to go 24 plus 1, because we have 6 wholes, which is 24, plus the 1, which is 25. So we're left with 25 over 4 times 4 over 5, and then we're going straight across. And that equals 100 over 100, which would also equal 1. Okay. So Mr. O requires 5 smoothies to teach 50 classes. So let's make a little ratio out of this. 5 smoothies for 50 classes. Okay, so we're going smoothies over class. And we can reduce this to 1 over 10. Okay, by dividing each one by 5. So to solve our questions here, we set up our ratio as smoothie over class. So we know that's 1 over 5 equals, now we're looking for this, and we have this. So we go, okay, how many times do I have to multiply 5 to get the 400? We could do 400 divided by 5. So what's our multiplication? So 80. Okay, so we're times it by 80 up here, down here. We also times by 80 up here, and 1 times 80 is 80. There's our answer. And we do the exact same thing with the second one, which would be 1 over 5 equals x over 2,000. So what's 2,000 divided by 5? 400. So I would require 400 smoothies. Look at me, let's separate. Let's do this. So, let's do some unit rates here. Okay, 5 boxes of crackers for $10.50. So we're trying to find how much for one box. So we're trying to figure out how much for one box. So that's going to be 10.50 divided by 5 is going to give us our Ritz. So 2.1. Then I can't switch colors right now. My Cheez-Its are going to be 12.23 divided by 7. $1.7. So the better box is the Cheez-Its. So it costs less. Now lastly, we have another ratio question here with an elephant, right? So we take what we know, which is 4, so we're doing grams over kilograms, okay, or pounds. Let's go weight. So 4 over 50, and we reduce that to, can we reduce that? 2 over 25. And if you don't reduce it, you're fine. Now, we know, so we did, let's go medicine over weight. That's what we kind of did. So 2 over 25, and for Dumbo weighs 2,800 pounds, and we're trying to find this. Okay, so how many times is this going to this? So 2,800 divided by 25 equals 112. So we multiplied this by 112 to get there. So we need to multiply this by 112. So 2 times 112 equals, what's that, 224? I was going to make sure because my brain. So we need 224 grams. Now the last question, I'm going to write it on here, but the video is not going to catch it. Because once I click on anything else, this video stops. Okay, so the answer will be here, but the explanation will not be. Unless maybe it won't. Let's see here. Oh, I guess there's 2 more questions. Okay, here we go. Next one. So there's 300 grade 9s at the high school. 60% attend the dance. Okay, so what's 60% of 300? Let's change 60% into a number. So we divide it by 100, which will guess us 0.6. So 0.6 times 300 equals, I'll say 180. Is 180 students. So we know that 180 students attend the dance, grade 9s. A quarter who attend buy their tickets at the door. So you can buy your tickets before or at the door when you arrive. So 3/4 bought it before, 1/4 bought it at the door. So 1/4, we could change that to, we change both of these to a number. So 3 divided by 4 is this. So to find how many buy their ticket before, it's 75% of this. So 0.75 times 180, which equals 135 students bought it before. Last question. My wife buys a pair of shoes. Okay, another pair of shoes. Her total cost is $120. What does she pay for it? We'll leave that as X. So it's discounted 20%. If you remember how I do 20%, I go 100 minus 20 equals 80, then divide that by 100 equals 0.8. So she's paying 0.8 of the price. Then she gets 40% off again. So 100 minus 40 equals 60, divided by 100 equals 0.6. So that's where the 0.6 comes from. Now tax is 13%, but I like to write it as a 1.13 because that gives us our final answer. So now we can put all these together to get this number. So 0.8 times 0.6 times 1.13 equals 0.54. 0.54 equals 120. You guys might recognize it better. 0.54x equals 120. And whenever we have a coefficient, right, we divide by it to get the other one. So the original price of those shoes was $222.22. Okay? Have a great day.